I want to raise the issue of the 2012 changes to the pensions and the recalculation process. And like many others, I welcome the move by the government to rectify this situation. But like many other announcements, there has been a lack of clarity around the timescale. How many people have been affected? And I know there are thousands of people around Mayo who have been affected by this and who have had drastic cuts to their pensions and who are finding, as they're coming up to pension age, that they're not entitled to what they expected and rightfully expected they would be entitled to. But Minister Regina Doherty recently said that there was 8,500 people had received a payment. She said that a further 24,000 have been contacted, leaving approximately 50,000 people still to be contacted. It's also my understanding that 11,000 have yet to receive the initial correspondence from the department, and this means that approximately 61,000 people have yet to be dealt with. So at least 50,000 have yet to be even reviewed, and they're expecting letters out from the pensions department, and they have rang up and made inquiries, and they cannot get clarity around it. So what I want to know, how long is that process expected to take? In terms of finalising the 24,000 and dealing with the others, is there a time frame for dealing with all of that? I think the Minister should come into the House to give an update on the progress of the scheme. I think this is really urgent because there are pensioners who are really living in fear, and pensioners who have had cuts, and pensioners who are left with hardly no money at all in trying to survive. They're trying to pay for hospital treatment, for travel, for many other things, and they just don't have the money to do that. For example, what is the size of the average payment? She has said that 80% of the 8,500 have seen their payment increase, but what is the average uplift? There's a real injustice being done to pensioners in this country, and it's been done very covertly and since 2012 in particular, when those changes were brought in. In 2012, people were really struggling to survive, and the impact of those changes is really hitting home now. And we see situations where even pensioners and people are followed beyond the grave to get every last cent from them. And I think it's an absolute indictment on our country to have pensioners who have contributed so much throughout their lives, to have them then in their retirement years where they don't have sufficient pensions because of changes that were made then. And it's not just the changes to the state pensions, of course, it's the changes that we've seen, the problems with the ESB pensions and other pensions. We've had the CE supervisors as well in terms of their pensions. It's just fairness and transparency that we need. So at the very first opportunity, I would ask for Minister Regina Doherty to come into this House to not just give a bland statement, but to answer the questions that we are asked every day on the doors and that I am asked across Mayo by pensioners in what's happening. How come I have been cut, €100, €50, €70, €80? These may seem like small amounts, but they're huge amounts to pensioners who have to pay for everything, and pensioners who are in poverty. We don't want a whole nation full of pensioners who are living in abject poverty at the stroke of a pen, which was done in 2012. And when there are announcements made, as many times announcements are made, we need to see them implemented. And we need to know before the election where pensioners stand across the country.